You ever had a console that just stuck with you? A system that didn't just deliver games, but delivered memories? For me, that's the Nintendo GameCube. And today, in 2025, nearly 24 years after the 2001 launch, I want to take a moment to look back at the little purple box. This is my love letter to the GameCube, a console that was underestimated, misunderstood, and somehow full of magic, all bundled into one little cube. The GameCube officially launched in Japan on September 14th, 2001, followed by North America on November 18th of 2001, and Europe on May 3rd of 2002. It came at a time when gaming landscapes was shifting. Sony dominated with the PlayStation 2, Microsoft was entering the ring with the first Xbox, and Nintendo doubled down on being Nintendo. No DVD player, no fancy multimedia pitch, just games, pure and simple. Even the design said that. A compact cube, a handle on the back, a lunchbox in the eyes of critics, but to fans, it was something charmingly confident, a system that said, hey, let's just have fun. At the launch, the GameCube came out swinging. In Japan, gamers got titles like Luigi's Mansion, Wave Race Blue Storm, and Super Monkey Ball. North America got even more, including Star Wars Rogue Leader, which blew everyone away with the visuals that looked like belonged on a much newer system than the GameCube. Luigi's Mansion wasn't the Mario platformer that people had expected, but it had personality. A creepy, funny, atmospheric experience that felt like Nintendo experimenting in the best way. Nintendo Power wrote at the time that the GameCube felt like a compact burst of power built for gameplay first. And honestly, that's exactly what it was. By 2002 and 2003, Nintendo had built one of the most beloved gaming libraries in Nintendo's history. Super Smash Bros. Melee. Released just weeks after launch, it became the party game and eventually a competitive phenomenon. Even now, in 2025, Melee is still played at tournaments around the world. There's something wild about a 24-year-old game refusing to die. Metroid Prime. In 2002, Retro Studios brought Samus into 3D, and fans were terrified the shift wouldn't work. Instead, it became one of the most highest rated games of all time. Developers later said they built the game around immersion first, and it shows. The visor effects, the scanning, the world felt alive. The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Controversial at reveal, but loved forever now. Its cel-shaded visuals were so ahead of the time that in 2025 it still looks better than most modern games. And let's not forget Animal Crossing. The GameCube was the first platform outside of Japan to ever get this series. For many, it became their introduction to chill gaming, long before cozy games were a trend. The Thousand Year Door, F-Zero GX, Mario Kart Double Dash, Resident Evil 4, Pikmin, Fire Emblem, and even Skies of Arcadia. The list just goes on and on. It's funny how people looked over the GameCube back then, now considering most of those games are in the top 50 of the greatest games of all time now for most people. And with the GameCube being so charming, I had to include some random and obscure facts that people may not know. Did you know the GameCube beats the PS2 at one thing, and that is load times? Because its discs were tiny, the GameCube actually had some of the fastest load times in its generation, often faster than Xbox as well. The optimal disc format has a hidden name. Internally, the 1.4 gigabyte mini discs were referred to as NODs, Nintendo Optical Disc. The name appears in early developer documentation, but not publicly facing material. And while diving further into console facts, I kind of found some stuff about games on the GameCube as well. Melee was only built in 13 months. Sakurai said his team worked literally 7 days a week for a year to get the game out. That's why many debug elements and oddities remain hidden in the code. Or like Luigi's Mansion was originally a tech demo for the GameCube. It wasn't even meant to be a full game at first. The demo showed dynamic lighting and smoke effects that were impossible in the N64. Did you even know the mansion itself has a randomly reshuffle feature? In early builds, the mansion layout changed each playthrough, roguelike style. Some remnants of that system still exist in the code. Something else I didn't know, F-Zero GX contains an entire F-Zero AX arcade game. The GameCube disc includes nearly the full arcade version. With action replay codes or modding, you can unlock the complete AX experience at home. Or like how in Animal Crossing boasting the GameCube version has NES games hidden in the save files. Not just the ones you can obtain normally, they're completely unreleased, unattainable NES games inside the data, like Super Mario Bros. And Legend of Zelda. These were included in testing and never intended for player access. The magic of the GameCube wasn't just the specs or the games, it was in the feeling. Booting it up with the unique startup sound, sliding in those tiny discs that looked something from the future, the deep, clicky, satisfying clack of the L and R triggers. It was a console that didn't demand your entire entertainment center. It just quietly sat there, waiting for you to pick up the controller and fall into another world. Developers at the time remarked the GameCube was easy to develop for, and that encouraged creativity over realism. And you can feel that in the games. They weren't trying to be gritty, they were trying to be fun. And there's something honest about that, something pure. And here we are in 2025, and the GameCube's legacy might be stronger than ever. Collectors hunting CIB copies like their treasures, speedrunners grinding away at Super Mario Sunshine, and some gamers young and old discovering games like, how did I miss this? And even Nintendo itself seems to acknowledge how timeless these games are. We've seen many GameCube classics remastered, referenced, or spiritually revived. But nothing beats the real hardware. The distinct purple box, the tiny disc, the controller you can identify in the dark. The GameCube wasn't the best-selling console. It wasn't the flashiest, but the GameCube, it had heart, and it had personality. A creative boldness that is rare to see today. So here's to the GameCube, 20-something years later, and it's one of the most charming and fun and most lovable consoles ever made. Thanks for watching. I'm Cameron, and this is Retro Carnage.